One is that the challenges we are facing, like global warming or urbanization or similar things, can only be met if all disciplines do work together. And if you just take one example, for instance, energy engineering. Energy engineering is not the classical power plant engineering technology anymore. It involves all the different renewables, it involves smart grid in terms of the distribution of energy and so forth. So one institute by itself is hardly possible to have all the specialists on board to come up with a comprehensive approach to one of these problems, not in one discipline, and especially not if it is an interdisciplinary problem. And so I think that we have to work together internationally, it's not only that industry has become global, I'm convinced that engineering has become global, and that way the education has to follow that. That was message number one. The other message was that we have to teach our students in a so-called systems engineering approach. What does that mean? It means that they have to look beyond the borders of the core problem. And if you like, I can give you a small example of what I'm talking about. A colleague of mine followed up the Fukushima event in Japan, and he asked the question why all the emergency pumps had been destroyed. And the answer was they had been fixed to the ground, and when the earthquake came, they were all destroyed. So then he asked the question, well, you know that you have earthquakes in Japan, so why did you fix them to the ground? And the answer was, we bought the equipment from the States 30 years ago. And what is the biggest natural threat to the United States? It's hurricanes and tornadoes. So you fix them to the ground, which means that a design of a certain product can be adequate for one country and completely wrong for a different country. So you have to take into account boundary conditions which are currently not covered, not in the education and not in the daily process. And this kind of a systems approach, I think this is something where we have to readjust our education, to revamp the curricula in that sense, and to prepare our young scientists for this kind of an approach.